What's going on, everyone? So Zion Williamson is available for trade per reports from the Charlotte Hornets. They've essentially made everybody but like Herb Jones, Troy Murphy III available for trades. Brandon Ingram, obviously, he's been the guy heavily talked about. DeJounte Murray, which is a bit surprising, as well as Zion Williamson now. Problem is who would actually trade for Zion? Now, look, I have been, and if you're subscribed and watch my videos on this channel, you've heard me regularly talk about how the Pelicans really need to look to trade Zion, right? Let him be somebody else's problem. It's crazy. He's still only 24 years old, right? Zion, when healthy, is an incredible talent, incredible player, very efficient, a very unique player, and you saw before the most recent injury, last season, right, before the play-in, right, him finally looking like top 5, top 10 Zion Williamson, right? I mean, he played my Lakers and dominated. It was finally that moment where I was like, I'm very upset and bothered right now that it's against the Lakers, but he is finally looking like the Zion we've all wanted to see him be. The Zion that's like, give me the basketball and get out of my way. And the Lakers had no answer for him. I mean, he was scoring every possession down. Problem is they couldn't stop the Lakers, and the Lakers had the lead, which is why I still think the Lakers probably would have won that game. But who knows? Game was close, and we had zero answer for Zion. But that was the guy. It was like, man, and you could see the vision going into the season. You finally had DeJounte Murray to kind of put everything together. It's like, man, DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. You really need a center, but man, you could figure that out, right? Like, you just need a serviceable center at that point. You still have Troy Murphy and Jose Alvarado and CJ McCollum. And it's just like, dude, this team, we've seen this team be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference for a good stretch, right? Before injuries and stuff like that happened, right? You saw the vision. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out, right? And I don't think anyone's going to knock the Pelicans for trying and putting in the effort. But you got to know when to just kind of cut the cord. And it seems like the Pelicans finally realized, like, hey, it's time to cut the cord. And I think you need to, like I said, sell Zion to the highest bidder. The problem is who would actually trade for Zion Williamson? He wants to go to the Knicks. Problem with the Knicks is I just don't see them trading for him, right? They already have more than enough. They're already, kind of set in that position. Like, I think that's off the table entirely. I think, because you need to trade him somewhere to a team that values the potential. There's always teams that are like, oh, like you heard Dyson Daniels say, the Pelicans are cursed, right? You don't think there's other teams that are like, Zion on us, he'll be better, right? Like, we have a better medical staff. We can figure this out, right? There's always a team that thinks that we can do better, right? So you need to find that team. You need to find that team that's like, hey, we really need to do better. And there's always teams that they don't really, like, they want the jersey sales, right, that are probably looking at Zion and going, man, if we get him, that's $1 billion, right? Like, who cares about winning? Just get Zion on this team. And if he does become that guy, well, then we're winning. I think the Charlotte Hornets should be pushing hard for Zion. I think Zion to Charlotte would feed families, like, genuinely. Like, him and Lamelo Ball by themselves would just be healthy. Problem is, neither of them have been a model of health. But if those two can be healthy, that would be, imagine how tough that would be. Imagine how good that could potentially be. I mean, Charlotte could, if Zion can really get back to being that guy, Charlotte could essentially kill two birds with one stone, make a ton of money, and be one of probably the top teams in the Eastern Conference, right? Especially if you can keep Brandon Miller, because you're not going to have to sell the farm to go get Zion, right? No team's going to sell the farm to go get Zion. It's too much of a risk. So if you're the Hornets, you're looking at it like, we could keep Brandon Miller, or you should be able to keep Brandon Miller, and we can keep LaMelo Ball, right? After that, like, go get Zion, whatever it takes, right? If I'm Charlotte, Miles Bridges, Cody Martin maybe, right? Because Zion's making like $37 million. It's like 36 change, but let's just call it $37 million, right? So again, you could do like I said, Miles Bridges is making, 26? He's making 27 million, right? So you got Miles Bridges, 27 million. And then, like I said, go add in a Cody Martin making 81 million. So that gets you to 35 there. And then you just need another like 2 million in salary, right? Another 3 million salary. You could just do a tack on or something like that, or, add in like a Nick Smith Jr. or something, and boom, there you go. There's Zion. You throw in a first or whatever, fine, who cares, so be it, right? At some point, you got to start looking to pay guys and start trying to win. But now you have essentially LaMelo Ball. You'd have, like I said, you'd have Josh Green still. You'd have Trey Mann still. You'd have Zion Williamson now, right? Brandon Miller. Like, that could be your starting five, essentially, right? And trading Miles Bridges would make some sense in that regard because, again, you're getting Zion, right? You have several guys that already, are that Miles Bridges, you can argue, is taking minutes that are just younger, right? Miles Bridges is probably the best thing that the Pelicans could get for a Zion at this point, right? At least you still get a 26-year-old, 20-point a game, sizable forward that you could slot at the 4 and still kind of stay where you're at, right? Like, so you could go, you could still do, if you wanted to, like, let's say you don't trade DeJounte, and let's say you probably still trade Ingram, but you could go like DeJounte, Herb, you could go Bridges, Murphy, and then go get a center. Can you go get like a Miles Turner in the offseason? All right, like, that's pretty good, right? Like, yeah, you don't have like that superstar, right? Like, but best ability is availability, and Zion still has his issue struggles. And if you're Charlotte, like, that makes all the sense in the world. Like I said, you still have Brandon Miller, still have LaMelo Ball. Now you got Zion Williamson, right? Like, Zion and LaMelo would just be spectacular. Like, that'd be so fun to watch, right? Like, the Hornets would be exciting again. They'd be talented. If everyone could stay healthy, they'd probably be tough, right? Like, they'd probably be a very good basketball team. Brandon Miller just keeps kind of coming into his own. LaMelo Ball, right? Like, you'd still have like Trey Mann and like I said, Josh Green for defense. They could be your like defensive pieces, right? Like, how do you say no to that if you're Charlotte, right? Even if you have to give up a first or two, right? Like, who cares? Again, Zion's still 24 years old. Again, the jersey sells that he'd have, and he's under contract for another like 3 years after this season. So it's not like, he's like, oh, get me out of here. Like, no, who's traded for you, dude? No one wants you. Can't stay healthy. You know what you could do, though, is you could get healthy, could dominate, you could do really good here for us, and then, maybe you can sign a new contract elsewhere once your contract expires. But in the meantime, you're stuck. In the meantime, we just traded for you and you're going to be here, right? Like, toughen up. Life sucks, right? Like, just figure it out, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I think Charlotte, because that's the problem. It's like, where else does he go? Like, what other team is taking a flyer on him? Like, I could see, again, there's a lot of bad teams that don't care, that are okay being bad. Right? But it's like, who are you really trading for him for? Like, I could see Detroit maybe going like, hey, get Zion. Cade Cunningham, Zion, be some fun. That's not LaMelo Ball and Zion. Sorry. It's not LaMelo and Zion. Right? Like, get him out of New Orleans. I'm sure he wouldn't be thrilled about going from New Orleans to Charlotte, but hey, again, life sucks. Being paid $36 million a year to hoop, right? Get healthy, get right, do what you need to do, right? Because again, if Zion can kind of get back to being that guy, you'd have, like I said, LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Zion as like your core 3 guys. Seriously, like, now if everyone's healthy, let's say everyone's healthy, you are bare minimum a top probably 4 or 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, if not better. I'm saying just bare minimum, because you still have like Boston, Cavs, Knicks. Although, like, the way the Knicks have been playing and this season, the struggles that they've had, they're looking better. They're starting to figure some stuff out, but still, it's like Pelicans or Hornets could be in that mix, and they'd be young. Right, again, Zion's only 24. Like your core group you have for at least the next 5 years, probably win some championships. Also, might kind of calm the LaMelo Ball, get him out of there, trade him rumors, right? A lot of people are like, save LaMelo type thing. That stemmed from Charles Lee deciding to bench him in the fourth quarter for Trey Mann. But, I think that's probably the best place for both sides, right? Because, like, I think they're a team that would take the chance on Zion. I think if Zion works, he'd be good enough. He'd get to compete, he'd get to kind of show himself, display himself. When his contract's up, he'd still be 28, right? Like 27. So you'd still be able to go get another contract elsewhere. I think you give them the best chance. And you'd be in the Eastern Conference, so you'd have a real chance at like making it out and winning. You could do worse, right? I think Zion to the Hornets feeds families, like genuinely. But how do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.